All right, no matter how many times I watch the game of basketball, how many games I watch, one of the things I love the most is you can watch so many games and still every game I sit down to watch, pretty much you're going to see something new, something I haven't seen before, a concept the team's trying out, just something really unique. You guys probably, from when you were playing as a 5-year-old, maybe you had a jump ball play on your elementary school team, but I haven't seen it in the NBA in a long, long time. So I'm watching this game. I fired up an old Lakers Rockets game to watch, and I watch the jump ball and I say, wow, this looked like maybe it was something they were looking for. Sure enough, I'm pretty sure the Lakers 100% diagrammed a jump ball play to start the game. So this is not something you're going to see pretty commonly, but just something interesting. I picked up on watch. You're going to see JaVale McGee. I guess they figured he was going to win the jump ball pretty easily against Capella, or at least they made sure he goes up and gets it. And then watch, Caldwell Pope's going to stand right here. Watch what he does. He's going to set this little back pick on Capella right after the jump ball. So Capella's McGee's man, right? So by Caldwell Pope setting this back pick right here, Capella gets held up. So what they're going to do is race the ball down, and Capella right away is going to call out switch because he knows he's way off McGee. So Chris Paul has to guard McGee down here under the basket. Right? They know that's a mismatch, so they don't want that. So they're going to try to kick him out of there. You see James Ennis trying to switch him out. So what the Lakers do, they do a great job of Rondo's going to come down, fake the post entry, fake the pass down there. When really what they're looking for, it looks like all along, is this exact thing to happen. A whole bunch of Rockets, 4 of them to be exact, sucked in worrying about McGee. Rondo's going to fake the pass down there. And then Caldwell Pope is going to get this top key to start wide open to start the game. Just really clever bit of coaching from Luke Walton, something, again, you never ever see really in the NBA. Jump ball play, back pick, get the switch. Houston goes to try to switch again. They end up getting an open look from Caldwell Pope. Next thing I see coming down, a couple plays later, all right, McGee misses a little baby hook. Transition offense in the NBA is running your butt off every single time, especially if you're the 5-man. They say you might only get the ball 1 out of every 10 times, but those 9 other times you might open up something for your teammates. So I want you to watch Capella here and how hard he's going to rim run. You get the ball, your job as a 5-man basically in the NBA, especially if you're the first big down, is to run right to the rim. Watch how hard Capella's going to run right down the middle all the way to the rim. Now, how does he get this layup? Well, McGee missed the shot. All right, so right about here, yeah, it looks like he's about even with Capella, but you know what? He ends up kind of just a step behind. Chris Paul, one of the purest, best vision point guards of all time, is one of the best ever, just seeing these little advantages. Capella's out a little bit ahead. So what the Lakers really needed right here is LeBron. LeBron has to be the guy. He's in here already. He has to stay in the paint. First priority in transition, stop the ball. You don't have a man, you got to stop the ball. Everybody back, get a foot towards the paint. Ingram is guarding a shooter outside the 3 right here. He can help a little bit more, but you don't want to really help off the corner. LeBron sees it from the beginning, really. He's basically the 4 anyway defensively. He should take this away right now, starting in the middle of the paint instead of being out on this along this right elbow. He's too far out, which means Chris Paul sees this the entire time. Look at his eyes. He knows Capella has an advantage, and if LeBron doesn't stop him, rim run, layup, easy money. Couple plays later, let's look at this. Now, another thing to pay attention to always is just, how they're playing pick and rolls. Looks like the Lakers switching, LeBron onto Harden. So when I watch this play, we know one of the main things in Houston's identity, the way they play, obviously, is to ISO Harden against any sort of mismatch or just whatever they feel the best matchup is. So first thing just to note, once they get the switch, Tucker's going to cut through, and Caldwell Pope can stay here for a second, but remember, you only have 2.9 seconds right now before it's defensive 3 seconds. You hear a lot of times help defense calling out, especially in this position. They'll even yell out 2-9, 2-9 to tell the refs, okay, I'm going to stay here for my entire 2.9 seconds, but I'm going to get out of there before you get to 3. So Caldwell Pope is probably out of there before 2 even, but he's just going to kind of walk through the paint. And remember, you have to have both feet out of the paint like he does here. So LeBron guarding in an ISO. Everything looks pretty good right about now. Only thing is, Rondo's standing a little bit too upright. He's in the right help spot. This is pretty much where you want to be in help. But he's up a little too upright. His left foot's a little bit too out in front. And so you know what? Chris Paul sees this, and basketball ultimately is a game of gaps, of driving angles, right? So he sees as Rondo tilts a little bit too much towards stopping Harden and worrying about the ball, Chris Paul knows that as soon as he catches the ball right here in this slot, it's going to be a catch and go. He's going to use it to get right into this slot. We call it like a running start, catch and go. Use it as a launching pad, coaches say. Use those slots as a launching pad. So he's going to use it just like that, launching pad right here. Rondo's already beat on the closeout. So what's going to happen next? Well, strong corner defense in the NBA is always 80-20, meaning 80% staying home in the corner, 20% pretending like you're going to help, giving the illusion of help. But ultimately, you're not really going to sell out from the strong corner. You don't want to give up this strong corner three. So you might stab at the ball, fake at the ball, but really you're staying home. So where does the help come from in the NBA? It comes from the weak side. JaVale really, the second Paul catches this ball, should be more towards the middle, foot in the paint, etc. He's a little late getting there, but you know what? He does come over. Fine. So he's here. So what happens next? Ingram needs to cover down, is what we call it. So as JaVale goes to bother and contest Paul's shot at the rim, Ingram needs to get his foot inside, compel his feet, and make sure he takes away the lob threat to him. He does that. He does his job. So next job really would be from LeBron. But as we saw all season, James Harden's at half court, James Harden's at 30 feet, whatever. Teams are so worried about him shooting the ball. They basically said play 4-on-4. We're not going to help off him at all. So in a normal scheme, yes, LeBron and maybe could even here give a little bit of rotation, but I guess, in a way they just figured, okay, we'd rather James Ennis shoot this three than LeBron. So basically the defense, aside from Rondo having his feet a little bit messed up and getting beat, the defense does the job right. Everybody's in the right spots. JaVale is where he's supposed to be, at least now. Ingram covers down well. Now LeBron could have rotated, but at least Ingram's going to make another effort, act like he's going to sprint out there, can't get there in time. But overall, good offense, good defense for the most part. Last clip I'll show you just in this batch. Main play for the Rockets, 21. This is pistol action. A lot of people asked about pistol. The pistol, old premise of pistol is just, it's a guard action on the wing. So it's usually a guard setting a step-up screen. Step-up screen is butt to the baseline, facing half court, just like this. So a lot of times you'll see Harden come down and just dribble this ball right off the guard. Here he's going to throw it, which is fine. That's an option out of pistol too. You can either keep it, you can throw it, you can play games out of it. So Harden throws it, now it basically becomes the same thing. Now Ennis could either fake the handoff to Harden himself and become the ball handler with Capella coming over to set aside pick and roll for him, or he can give it back to Harden, which he does here, and then he kind of flares off the big, and it becomes a corner pick and roll with the big and with Harden. So again, call is pistol. Houston might call it 21 is another popular call for this. It was a big Steve Nash action. So what happens now? The Lakers are going to switch this handoff. So now Ingram's guarding Harden. Harden does a great job, though, setting up. He knows the pick and roll is coming to him in the deep corner. So he's going to really use his body to get the ball down deep. Now what's he going to do? He knows the Lakers' coverage. JaVale, if you heard the audio here, was yelling out, ice, ice, ice. The problem is, when the ball's this low already, ice, Ingram would have to jump all the way up here to try to force the ball to stay baseline. Since Ingram's already kind of towards the baseline side of Harden, this was a really hard play for him to get iced. So, of course, what happens is he doesn't get it iced, and Harden's going to get a layup. Now, what annoys me sometimes about watching games on TV is you're going to hear on plays like this even, Mike Breen said something like, "Where's the help D?" Well, truthfully, nobody here really can help. That's sort of the issue. Yeah, Rondo could maybe be a little bit more towards here. Caldwell Pope's actually perfect. LeBron's actually perfect in the right spot. Off the corner, off weak side, shooters that are one pass away, you can't be more than a couple feet off them. You don't want to give up with these open threes. So really, the only way you can fix this is by playing it better with the four guys that are involved in the action. So how could you play it better? Well, like I said, first of all, JaVale might need to recognize earlier, call out ice earlier and as soon as possible. And if Ingram had jumped up and iced him right here, maybe they could have got this iced. It's way too late to call ice, so they don't get it iced. So really, it's the coverage broke down, right? So, okay, so we didn't get it iced. What can we do then? Well, now you could yell out switch if you need to. So what would happen then? JaVale right here could switch on to Harden, and then Ingram basically would have had to go under the pick and roll to make sure he takes away the lob to Capella. Instead, he goes over the top, which means by going over the top, if JaVale steps up right here to Harden, Capella is behind Ingram, and he's going to have a lob dunk. So really, again, the only option really, once it gets to the middle, is either Rondo can come running all the way over here and potentially give up a wide open top three to Ennis, or you can switch it, but again, a switch would have required JaVale to also call that out to let Ingram know to go under the screen. The way they play it like this, there's no help defense that could have came and helped. Basically, JaVale was either going to give up a layup to Harden or a lob dunk to Capella. At this point, you're pretty much doomed.